All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo, joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Big D, Daryl Ortiz, on the road to SummerSlam as we're getting dangerously close. I believe it's next Saturday
Next
already.
Saturday.
Next Saturday and Sunday, 2-day event, 2-day SummerSlam. So it already got a stacked card. We had talked about this before. They pretty much filled out what they're going to do for SummerSlam, and now
Yeah.
this is just kind of we're doing all the precursors to set everything up as we get to that event. So this week on Raw and SmackDown obviously was pretty much by the book. We'll go through that first, but obviously we'd be remiss if we didn't take some time to talk about the biggest event this week and the biggest news this week that happened. Obviously the untimely passing. We'll call it untimely. He was only 71 years old.
Yeah.
Of the immortal Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea. Big D, I want to just start with your thoughts on Hogan retrospective. I'll just let you have the floor.
Yeah. When I heard the news, it really caught me off guard. It was interesting because, like you said, he's always billed as like the immortal. I honestly thought this dude was say what you must. I heard a lot of different things back and forth on social media. People are not really caring about it, but as a true, I will call myself a tried and true wrestling fan. Regardless of how you felt about Terry Bollea, the man, there's nothing you could take away from what he did to this industry, to this business, for wrestlers and even guys like us that do commentary, locally here and do all that good stuff. We wouldn't be here, honestly. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't feel we'd be here if it wasn't for him. A lot of wrestlers such as The Rock, such as Roman Reigns, and of course Seth Rollins, and any other wrestler that has had a part in a movie or TV show, that it also would not be possible if it weren't for Hulk Hogan. He left his mark in the industry and left some incredibly large boots to fill, in the fact that we won't have another like him. His work, his promo work, and his in-ring work, regardless of how he was backstage, regardless of all the stuff that people talk about recently that have come to surface, you can't take away what he did for the industry and for the business. He is always and forever will be an icon, always and forever will be a Hall of Famer. And I mean, he is going to be missed as far as his in-ring work and all that good stuff. Like, I just feel that we can't take that away from him and his legacy. Like I said, despite anything else, I mean, I get it, and I'm not condoning anything that he's ever said or done or any of that stuff. But at the same time, we wouldn't have the NWO if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. We wouldn't have WrestleMania, like huge moments like the ones we had with Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre, Hulk Hogan teaming up with Mr. T, that whole crossover stuff. It'd be very hard to do if it wasn't for somebody like Hulk Hogan. So, hopefully he rests in peace, and we are gonna miss him as far as in the ring and what he does. There's nobody else that I feel that would get a larger pop than he would. I mean, people would debate The Rock and a few others, but I still feel that Hogan, that's wrestling. I mean, he is wrestling. So I don't
He
know.
is. Nah, very well said, Big D, and I agree. And I think for me, it was so surreal when you hear it because, like you said, it's like he was pretty young, 71, still pretty young, and
Mm-hmm.
I know more things will come out. Obviously, sound like his health had been failing him recently,
Yeah.
and he was just such a larger than life figure. And people talk about Hogan's contribution. I think it goes beyond contribution to professional wrestling. Like Hogan and Vince McMahon together, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like him or not, they created pro wrestling and sports entertainment that you see today. They took it from the little individual territories into this global, worldwide phenomenon. That kind of transcended wrestling and became sports entertainment. And it became cool to be a wrestling fan, and celebrities aligned with it. And they broke into the mainstream, that type of contribution just rose professional wrestling to heights that it had never experienced before. And had they not done that, to your point, we wouldn't be here doing the thing. WrestleMania wouldn't exist without Hogan and Vince McMahon. It would not exist. The levels that it's reached would not exist. The Hollywood crossover. He was the first one to really do that. You have The Rock and you have John Cena, but he was the pioneer for doing that. He set the blueprint and the formula for doing that. Everyone talks about the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Whether you agree with the other stuff in his life, which you don't give him a pass, but you can't now disregard everything that he did because of those things either. He's a human being. Human beings make mistakes. We're all flawed. We all do those things. He really is on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling in terms of without him, this doesn't exist. And I found myself, even growing up, I wasn't a huge Hogan fan. I was more of a Ric Flair guy. But I one of my favorite matches of all time, probably my favorite WrestleMania match, was WrestleMania 18, Icon versus Icon, Hogan versus The Rock. Not because it was the best wrestled match, it was because the emotion and the excitement and that Toronto crowd was so behind them, and it was the nostalgia of those people kind of going back to their childhoods and cheering for their childhood hero, and it was the brilliance of the double turn during that match where The Rock and Hogan played into it, and just the electricity of watching him go through his greatest hits and the Hulk up and the no sell and the finger wag and people losing their minds. It made me feel like a kid again when I watched it. And it still does. When I go back and watch it, I still get chills and I get goosebumps. I had to wear the NWO shirt. I had to represent today. It's because, sadly, of the 3 founding members of the NWO, there's only one left. And it's Kevin Nash, because we lost Scott Hall. Now we've lost Hulk Hogan. So cannot deny the impact that he's had. Rest in peace. Again, not a perfect man, but from a professional wrestling standpoint, you can't deny what he's done. Rest in peace.
I agree wholeheartedly. And you brought up that match. It's funny because he was the heel.
Yeah.
Going in. Heel Rock was the face. And the fans are like, hell no.
Toronto's like,
the face.
Nope.
And you know what?
The shock on their faces when they were both like looking, like they were doing the look of the crowd, like, what do we do here? And they would just brilliantly was like, all right, go with it. Absolutely went with it. And The Rock did the heel part perfectly when he took the belt off and spit on it and was whipping him with the belt. Like they played into it perfectly, and it was so good. And like I said, Hogan was, at that point well past his prime,
of course,
obviously. And he was never a great technical wrestler to begin with, but just something about everything had meaning in that match. It was so good. And I still go back and watch it and I still get goosebumps. It's just such a great match, and well played by both of them, and deserving how both of them really are icons. The Rock is an icon. Hogan certainly is an icon. So yeah,
I think Angel can take that away, to be honest with you. So, I mean, of course he is going to be missed. And like I said, man, huge boots to fill. So, I mean,
huge boots to fill. And with that, we'll move into Monday Night Raw. Big D, take us through what happened or what didn't happen.
Yeah, just a lot of setup for going into SummerSlam, and as you know, we'll talk about that later. But it is a very stacked card. So had the face off between CM Punk and Gunther. Nothing too crazy there. It's just that, honestly, they're just waiting so that they can get their hands on each other for SummerSlam. That match is going to be good. We could do predictions probably next week.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we have time to do predictions next week because, it's going to be interesting to see how they play that one. You had Sheamus and Rusev, and their second match together was a great, again, awesome match as expected. I'm expecting a third soon because that one ended with Sheamus winning this time. So,
yeah, Sheamus finally won. That was the first time he's beat him, right?
Yeah,
I want to say,
yeah. So it was good. I liked it. The hits, of course, stiff and hard. It was crazy, but. I'm assuming we're going to get some sort of third match just to kind of pick a winner, right? After that, we had a number one contenders triple threat tag team match between the LWO, Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, versus the New Day and Creed Brothers. This was kind of odd for me. It was a good match. It was well wrestled. We had Grande Americano interfere, of course, which I think we all can agree we know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Just by his tone and his posture. If that doesn't give it away.
Well, again, also, somebody's been missing from TV for a little while, so you're like, you know who it is.
Yeah, and he wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
But it was actually a really good match. I kind of it was kind of a meh finish for it. I feel New Day was.
It was odd that the LWO picked up the win here too.
Because they weren't really pushing the LWO.
Yeah. Well, and which, first off, I will say, I love Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. Wilde looked great in this match.
Yeah.
They always look great, but they've really been underutilized recently. And so I was thinking, oh, hey, the LWO is here when they did that. And I almost thought they were just there almost as cannon fodder to be like, for somebody else to go over. So when they won, I was a little surprised that it just felt anticlimactic.
It did. That's why I was kind of like, I'm not wrong. I'm happy, of course. Yeah. That's great. They deserved the shot, but that's just interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. After that, we had Becky Lynch and Valkyria kind of going at each other. I was going to say something, and it's crazy that this happened the way it did. I was going to mention this week, and actually I wrote it down in my notes, that I've noticed that Becky has adopted the red and yellow for her entrance, for her deal. Some of her attire is all red and yellow. So I kind of was like, I was gonna say, like, is she gonna be like considered like the next Hogan for like the women's division and stuff? But
Yeah.
that, of course, with Hogan passing, I don't think they do that. But I just noticed that all of a sudden she's doing the red and yellow. But anyways, yeah, they just pretty much were going back and forth. This was all just a setup because this was going to have the women's tag team championship match between Raquel and Roxanne versus Bailey and Lyra. Naturally, Raquel and Roxanne retained the titles.
Yeah.
It was a close match. It was kind of awkward for me because I don't know. I feel like Lyra was selling the confusion a little too hard.
Yeah.
It kind of looked a little clunky when Bailey was trying, like they're trying to do double team moves. I get it. She's supposed to be hesitant. I think she took it a little too literal because it didn't flow smoothly. But I guess maybe that's the point, right? I mean, who knows? But the nice touch was we forgot Becky Lynch was out there in the first place, and she popped back out from rolling out under the ring, and she rolled back in under the ring, which was a nice little touch. I appreciated that. That was great when she interfered. But yeah, so that's how that ended there. You had Becky Lynch again, just came back again and ambushed Lyra Valkyria, and that's pretty much what happened. So Raquel hit the Hana bomb and on Bailey and won the title. So retained.
Yeah, the whole thing seemed a little weird to me too, and from the reason that um, somehow Bailey went out and got a tag match without Lyra's permission, even though they're not really they're not a tag team. And she's like, "Hey, you
they were
signed me up
fighting
for
last
that?"
week. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just like, "You signed me up for it." She's like, "Yeah, that way we can just do it because we were supposed to fight together at WrestleMania." And it's like, well, if they win, then Lyra would have to defend the tag titles at SummerSlam and also have to compete against Becky at SummerSlam. So like, you knew she wasn't going to win. You knew they weren't going to win the whole time.
It was too soon for Judgment Day to drop
And
those
it's
titles.
yes, so. Way too soon for Judgment Day to lose. So it just felt like we were killing time.
Yeah, it was just awkward.
Yeah. But it was like, it was fine for what it was. But I'm like, I feel like they could have, especially now with the shows being a little bit shorter. We don't have any real 3-hour shows anymore. I know Netflix is kind of as long as it needs to be. I feel like this could have been time better used elsewhere, but it is what it is. They're still stoking the fires. They got to give Becky Lynch something to do too.
True.
On the way to SummerSlam, so I get it.
Yeah, one of the stories that they were doing throughout the night was Dominic Mysterio needing to get re-cleared by medical because of his sickness or whatever his doctors know. But I liked it because throughout the night they had AJ, they had him mopping at one point. And then
like AJ with all of his disguises. So
I love it. It's goofy.
Was like the valet driver, and then like mopping, janitor. Like, hey, we need a doctor, and he's the ringside doctor.
Yes, that was about to say. So like Dom gets kicked by Raquel on accident, and medical personnel comes down. There's AJ to attack him again. So that was a nice touch. But yeah, so after that match, we had Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. So Karrion Kross got the win this time. Somebody brought it up in a comment of our last show when we recapped the Saudi show, Crown Jewel. And was it Crown Jewel?
The last Saudi show?
Yeah. I forgot. Oh, King of the Ring. Yeah, what the heck, King of the Ring, whatever. Anywho, so they brought up a good point. The reason Sammy won is because obviously he's a Syrian descent. He's Muslim, so they let him. That makes sense. That totally slipped my mind. So thank you to whoever said that. I appreciate that. Sorry I missed the name. So this time around, Karrion Kross defeats Sami Zayn. Karrion Kross busted open. Nice little touch there because of course he doesn't care about that. And the odder look was Scarlett just getting up in there too. So that was interesting to see both of them covered in blood. But yeah, he took the win. It was a distraction because, of course, he was given the pipe.
He snuck in the pipe and did the pipe to the midsection. But Sammy still keeps getting cleared by WWE Medical. Even though
Dom's still sick. That's the weirdest thing.
Dom is still having a problem. Now, Dom did officially get cleared tonight, and they made the SummerSlam official between him and AJ Styles. He was like, I'll see you at SummerSlam. So I was like, all right, so that's done. But apparently everybody's like, yeah, Sammy's fine. Rub some dirt on it. He'll be all right.
Yeah. He's good. He's fine. It's okay. It's just his ribs. He only needs one. One's broken. It's fine.
Yeah, one's broken. He's got plenty of others.
So after that, we had Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer, which was actually a good match. It was a great match because those two do work extremely well together. Unfortunately, ended in no contest. That's, it's a bummer, but, it was getting good until Chelsea Green, Alba Fire, Piper Niven came out to attack Vaquer because obviously she's had her beef with them. After that, Sky kind of helped her fend them off, which was a nice, cool little touch to see. But then Naomi ambushed them both, and then Rhea Ripley came in as backup and helped Vaquer and Sky. So what does that mean? That means we're gonna have probably guessing we're gonna either have Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest versus Rhea, Io, and Stephanie. next week. Or instead of Chelsea Green, we're going to have Naomi with the Secret Harvest taking on. Either way, I think we're going to have a 6-woman tag match next week, but we'll see.
Yeah, most likely. And I think it'll be Chelsea and the Secret Harvest, and then you might have Naomi come in or like interfere or do something at the end. But I think you're absolutely right. And I will say this though, the final three, because that was the main event match before the final segment. The final three matches all had interference, which I was like upset about, because I'm like, oh, you had like the interference from the Secret Harvest in this one. You obviously had Karrion Kross getting the pipe assist from his lady, and then you had all the interference in the tag match. And I'm like, guys, can we stop doing just interference finishes? And that's how they close the three matches out, though.
Oh, it continued on SmackDown. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. No, I know.
But the main event segment, of course, was supposed to be Roman Reigns to come out and talk finally after his return, which I kind of like. I like the way they did this. I kind of knew it was kind of leading up to something like this. So you had Paul Heyman come out instead with the Bronze. And so they came out to talk. And of course, Roman Reigns interrupts and comes in the ring. And Paul Heyman offering him Seth Rollins' spot.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Offering the leadership position.
Yeah. And you could tell the whole time Braun Breaker's just not having it. Braun Breaker does a good job of like when he doesn't like someone, he's not supposed to like somebody, like just like the way he is. I like it. It's good. He's like kind of unhinged a little bit, and I enjoy that. So long story short, they went back and forth. Roman and them brawled, and then he needed backup. Of course, Jey Uso came out to back him up, which I'm glad to see. Jey Uso had a great singles run, and still has a lot of potential to continue a singles run. But I think him working together with Roman is the best bet. And this turned into tag team match for SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. So we have Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, which is going to be an insane match, I'm sure.
Yeah, that should be great. It should be a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of this stuff was just like we're filling out the rest of the SummerSlam card pretty quickly. This stuff was all good. Roman's great on the mic, and it's funny to see how much, especially the early part of his career, he was not good at cutting promos. He's really good at
he was terrible.
Now he was absolutely terrible for, and now he was absolutely brilliant here. Heyman's obviously great. This was a lot of fun. I will say, I like Braun Breaker as far as like his kind of the aura that he has about him right now. But when he gets on the mic, he does still sound a little
like his uncle,
like a kid.
It sounds like his uncle.
Because he kind of talks like this, and his voice is a little high, and like it's hard to be like. As soon as he starts talking, I'm like, gosh, Heyman's a much better mouthpiece for Breaker than Breaker is. So I'm sure he'll get through it. There's just something about the way that he speaks. It just reminds me of like buff Seth Rogen. And I'm just not like, it always goes, makes you cringe a little bit. I'm sure he'll get better at it. It's just, I guess his voice doesn't match the rest of his persona, is how I'll put it. But Lesnar's kind of like that too. And Lesnar early on in his career wasn't great at doing promos, and he got progressively better. So I think just given time, Breaker
under the tutelage of Paul Heyman. The tutelage of Paul Heyman. That's going to help for sure.
Certainly.
But that's how he closed out Raw. It was to the point. It was a to the point kind of show. I think we're just trying to tie up any loose ends here, get our SummerSlam card rounded out here, and that's exactly what it ended up being on SmackDown. So I'll let you kind of go ahead.
And SmackDown obviously opened the day after Hogan's passing. We already gave our thoughts on Hogan. They did a nice tribute video for him, very beautifully done, very tastefully done, very emotional. And then you go from that to a Logan Paul promo, which is like just the worst transition of true sadness and nostalgia and the celebration of life that was Hulkamania to Logan Paul coming out going, I heard you chanting thank you Logan instead of thank you Hogan. I was like, okay, that's even a little much for me. Like, let's not dip into the fact that a man is dead. So it was just like, gosh. And he was getting booed in his hometown, which is funny because they were in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then he was going to do impulsive, repulsive.
He is impulsive,
repulsive, live. And then Jelly Roll came out and did a promo. This was obviously, of course, all for the setup because they've got the tag match coming up at SummerSlam. I will say this, Jelly Roll's promo delivery was 1,000 times better than Logan Paul's promo delivery.
I was about to say, let's round of applause. Jelly Roll on the mic.
Jelly Roll on the mic
was great, man. Like
I was like, all right. Brilliant.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was so good, and it was natural. Like Logan Paul never sounds natural. Jelly Roll sounds like he's speaking from here, which is very, very, very different, and it really came out well, very genuinely well.
I feel like Logan Paul, and again, he's great in the ring, he's great athlete, but I feel like whenever he delivers a promo, I think his mouth gets ahead of his brain, and I've had that happen to me too when we're talking and stuff. You know, it happens, right? But it happens a lot. And I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if he's trying to overthink something. But like when you hear Jelly Roll, it's just just fluid.
It's just
It was
natural.
great. I was like,
It
hey,
came out
hell
really.
yeah,
I was
that
like,
sounds great.
man. I
Yeah.
was like, and just the contrast between the two. I also feel like Logan Paul tries to deliver it like a classic wrestling promo,
Mm-hmm.
where he's too much trying to enunciate certain things, and then there's just like nobody talks like that in real life. Jelly Roll talks like an actual person.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like conviction in his words. So the contrast was pretty stark, and it was great. So kudos to you, Jelly. And then we had
Mr. Roll,
Mr. Roll, Mr. Jelly,
Mr. Jelly. There
Jelly,
you go.
Jelly, or like you're like Randy. Jelly backstage interview, Mr. Jelly Roll. So Drew McIntyre came down and they started beating up on Jelly Roll. Randy Orton came out. There was the brawl. Jelly Roll did show off his performance center training. He did like a few shoulder checks. He did a couple of slams. Like he did quite a few
The
moves.
Boss Man Slam, man. I
Did the
haven't
Boss
seen
Man
that in
Slam,
a while.
and I was like, too much. Like, here's the problem with this. I wish they had. I know he's been training at the Performance Center, and they even mentioned that on commentary. Hey, that Performance Center. I was like, wait to unveil that at SummerSlam, because I felt like he did too many
But you mean
moves.
like how they did with Bad Bunny?
Yeah,
How nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. I would have preferred them not to have teased it too much here, because I feel like we saw most of his move sets right now, and I was like,
maybe we haven't.
Maybe we haven't. Maybe he's going to do a shooting star press.
Oh God, no!
Knock all of our socks off. But I just wish they had kind of held off till SummerSlam. It's like, just do the unveiling there. Let him kind of go on a tear with whatever his transitions are going to be and whatever his movesets are going to be. But I was like, just too much. Just save it for SummerSlam, because he's going to be somewhat limited during that match. Obviously, Randy Orton's going to do most of the heavy lifting for his team. Totally get it. That's was my only knock.
That's normal with a celebrity involved in a match.
Yeah,
that's normal.
After this, we got, what was it? Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss, because this is the run up to the tag match that's coming up at SummerSlam. And you had Raquel and Charlotte ringside. It's just a repeat of the previous week with them backing each other up. It was a good match. It did end with Alexa needing to kind of save Charlotte from getting a Tahana bomb, it looked like, on the outside.
Yeah, she busted her nose.
Yeah, she hit the Twisted Bliss to the outside, busted her nose open pretty badly in the process. And then Roxanne took advantage, got a roll up on Alexa Bliss. So Roxanne picked up the win, and then we'll see what happens. But she did get busted up, but she took it in stride and was fine. And I think it actually helped in the backstage segment later when she has had the bloody rag, and they were like, it's the friendship of Charlotte and her starting to blossom, really.
Which we said was needed, right? That before they win the tag title. So maybe now it's getting there. Like we had said before, when they first teamed up, it was like, nah, it's not ready yet. But now it's starting to see more.
Now it is. And then she got hurt and she was like concerned about her. So it was like, okay, this helped. I think they really played into it. The fact that, and hopefully Alexa's okay. I think it was just something superficial. It didn't look like it was too bad. But it did help with kind of the aesthetic of what they were going for. So that was pretty cool. After this, we had a Jade Cargill interview where she started beating up Chelsea Green. I'm like, poor Chelsea Green. So this is where I'm going to go on. Can they please stop just burying Chelsea Green? She had the U.S. Championship. They had her lose it. She got beat up on Monday night, like by everybody, and then like left in the ring. She was a sacrificial lamb for Rhea Ripley and company. And it was like, oh man, why did they do that to Chelsea Green? Well, then Jade beat her up, dragged her out to the ring, and it became an impromptu match. Jade hit the Jaded, and then the Secret Service jumped in and attacked, and Tiffany Stratton came out and saved her. And I was just like, this was fine. It didn't really need to happen. It was just, again, giving Jade something to do before her match with Tiffany Stratton. But why are you going to do this all at the expense of Chelsea Green and have her look like crap 2 shows in a row? Come on. But Big D, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was comical. I mean, it was funny because she kind of just threw her over her shoulders and like saw a ref, was like, come on. And then took him out, and I was like, okay. No, but what I thought was funny too, and again, this is not a knock on anybody. This is just my personal, but I got a kick out of during the match, right? So she gets her out, she throws her off over her shoulder at the entrance ramp, and then still does her pose, and then goes, but there's no music, and I'm like, yes. How she's just like nonchalantly just grabbing.
But that's
her.
Really just pulverizing her. But that's where I'm like, poor Chelsea. Yes, it makes Jade look great, but at the expense, have somebody else do that. If you want to job out one of the other Secret Service people, if you want to do that to Alba Fire, go ahead. But
yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It's at Chelsea Green's expense. Yeah, because I think people forget how talented Chelsea Green really is.
Yeah.
She is a very talented wrestler. You can believe me, watch the match she had with Penta at Lucha
No,
Underground. That was
she's
yeah.
great, and I feel like she's really clicking right now in terms of just her presentation, her promo work, her wrestling. Like she's doing it all really, really well. It's just sad to see her now kind of getting fed to other superstars to help build them up. Very much in the same way as LA Knight, which
Yeah.
LA Knight was like completely absent from the show. Like they haven't done anything with him except have him lose in that qualifier when he popped up on Monday night in the gauntlet match against Braun Breaker after beating Seth Rollins at Saturday Night Main Event, technically. So they've done nothing with him too. So that for me is a bummer.
It
And so
is.
I feel like they're both getting unfairly pushed to
I
the
mean,
side.
it's tough though, because like we said before, the card is very stacked, right? Like we have a lot of talent in both WWE, in both Raw and SmackDown, which is good. It's a good thing to have, right? It's a good problem to have. But then sometimes it sucks because someone's going to have to kind of take some of that. So we'll see. Because look at case in point, Julia's the U.S. champion. We don't see her on TV other
Yes.
than a backstage segment with, oh my goodness, because Kiana James is now representing her because Kiana had nothing else to do, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's kind of hard because you don't see her in the ring that often, but you see, oh yeah, she is the U.S. champion, and then she gets challenged for the title. So I mean, obviously they're gonna have that match soon at some point, but
No, they will. And then after this, we got Cody Rhodes out just to he gave a thank you to Hulk Hogan, and then he said he just wants the real John Cena at SummerSlam, and the hustle, loyalty, and that they can beat the respect out of each other.
it was a
See you
good
next
promo.
week. It was a good promo, but it was like there's no John Cena. John Cena wasn't there. It was just like,
Yeah.
bring your best game, buddy. I'll see you next Saturday.
But you know
And
what
then
though, I'm hoping that this was kind of a hint towards, because how John was trying to like get out of it. And this is just the fan in me hoping. I know it's a long shot, but I would love to see the Doctor of Thugonomics return for the street fight.
I hope so.
I mean, it would be
I
cool.
wouldn't, because he said, I want you to walk out right. I want you to have the belt turned around. He was like, I want the old person. But I'm thinking John Cena's already established himself as heel Cena, saying, I'm not going to give you what you want. F you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would he? This, like, it would be great. I would love it. It would be super cool. And I think if you're gonna hold off and do something, do it at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That's the time to do it. I don't know. Wishful thinking. Don't get my hopes up, Big D, because then
I
I'm gonna be
know
like,
it's wishful thinking.
maybe it will, and then he's just
No.
gonna walk out with the regular presentation. Man,
Yeah, I'm like 99.9% sure it's going to be just the John Cena we've been seeing.
yeah,
But the
he's gonna keep trolling us,
0.01% of me is hoping for just one.
hoping for better things, but
Just one, because there's
just
all
one.
kinds of stuff going on. How like supposedly when Cody put him through the table, that he was wearing the watch that The Rock gave him.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you know what I mean. So like, there's little hints where we might see a Cody heel turn, and then maybe this was John Cena turns face. I don't know, but I doubt it. So
well, and I hope so. I really do hope we see the Cody heel turn, and we've talked about that over the last.
I would love
weeks.
a Cody heel turn, but I mean, who knows? It won't be now, but we'll see what happens. And
yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out in a week. I mean, it's coming up pretty quickly. And then after this, we got the Jacob Fatu promo that got interrupted by the Miz of all people. And he slapped Jacob and said, "Hey, everybody, remember who I am." And then they were like, "All right, let's just do a match." And then they started doing a match. And then during the match, the Bloodline 3.7, 4.2 MFTs is the place to be, and they came down because, of course, they did. And then Jacob did end up picking up the win. Then immediately got jumped by the Bloodline. And then that brawl ensued. Like, this is the usual stuff. They're already it's already going to be Jacob versus Solo at SummerSlam. They already made that match.
yeah, they're just building up the feud.
Jimmy came down with a chair to help, and then the brawl continued. Which again, for some reason, Jimmy and Jacob pretty well counter the rest of this new bloodline, which is odd. Like, they did a pretty decent job fighting them off. Jacob nearly killed Solo he was going to set him up with a chair, hip attack, and then until Tama cut him off, and then the numbers game caught up with them again, and they stood tall. But they did pretty well for just two guys against that entire group.
Yeah.
But this is all just setting up what we're waiting for happen at SummerSlam. So it was fine.
Yeah.
Again, don't know if it was completely necessary. I feel like Jacob's going to win at SummerSlam. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens on the shows before that. He'll beat Solo, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel Solo might retain.
I don't know. Maybe
we'll see. We'll talk about predictions later.
Maybe Zilla makes his debut at SummerSlam, and then that's that.
I've given up on that.
Well, I'll go on record. Maybe it finally happens, and then it's like, oh, and then he joins with Jimmy and Jacob to even the odds. We'll see. We'll see. Main event time. We had Andrade and Rey Fenix versus the Wyatt Six for the tag titles. This one started with only 10 minutes left in the show, and I was
Yeah,
like,
you knew it was going to cut short. Something was
yeah,
going to happen.
I was like, wow, they've really taken a long time to get it going. It was relatively short. You had Andrade and Rey Fenix had the match won with Andrade hitting the message, and then Nikki Cross grabbed the ref and pulled the ref out of the ring, and then she immediately called for the disqualification. So the first thing I was going to say was, I've seen the ref get pulled out of rings in non-disqualification match, and they never just call for the bell. Like, I've never seen that. And I was like, yeah, usually it, and not that it shouldn't. I mean, it technically should be a DQ.
Technically is, yeah.
But they never get DQ'd for doing that. It happens all the time. The ref usually just yells at the person and that's it.
Or they kick them out.
They throw them out from ringside. So that was a little strange. And then secondly, why the heck would the Wyatts care about, oh no, we're going to lose the titles, better cheat to retain the titles? Like, you've already established the Wyatts as like the supernatural force that's more about punishing people for betraying their families, and they're more about this kind of twisted sense of justice, and they're kind of beyond this world and beyond like mortal accolades. And then they're like, oh no, we might lose, better get a DQ.
You know what I probably would have preferred versus that?
Yeah.
I feel like, because this kind of would have played more into like Uncle Howdy's leadership role, right? I feel like if seeing that the message got hit, I feel like it would have been better to see Uncle Howdy send Rowan to Eric Rowan, like, hey, go take care of that, because he can't handle it. Take care of that. And then have Rowan go and like hit Andrade, right? But get the DQ, but then grab who he hit it on Gacy, right?
Yeah, I think he hit it on Gacy.
Yeah, get Gacy and have Rowan throw Gacy out and like get mad at him, and then, like, you know what I mean, kind of like a punishment, like, now you can't defend the titles because you proved you can't, so now I'm going to do it. And then they go,
that would have been
like, you know what
better.
I mean, like, I feel like that kind of would have been a little bit better, because then after that we had the revolving door.
You had the rundown of all the tag teams, because we knew this is where it was, and you predicted this. I want to say last week you said, "Hey, wouldn't it be great if we get a TLC with everybody at SummerSlam?" And we're getting the TLC with everybody, with literally everybody, because all the other tag teams cleared out, like coming out one after the other. I'm thinking, why don't you just all run out together instead of running out like in groups? But they ran out one after the other. So it's what the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium. Who else came out?
Is Fraxium, Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, DIY was the last ones that came out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Plus Andrade.
Six, it's going to be a 16 TLC match, which I am stoked for.
Which should be great. That should be awesome. I'm glad they did it. I wasn't a fan of how they got there. Like, even if you're going to, at least if you're going to have the Wyatts like attacking them, and you want to have a DQ so they retain, have the teams all run down just while it's going on and cause the disqualification, because the Wyatts have done that to everybody. So that even makes more sense than doing this weird thing with Nikki pulling the referee out. But regardless of how we got there, we're getting a TLC that should be bananas.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's day one, because I don't know that I think the TLC and then Cena Rhodes, is going to be the main event on night 2, right?
See. I can tell you. So Cena Rhodes is Sunday. Stratton Cargill is on Saturday. Sunday is the triple threat women's, Rhea, Naomi, and Io. Gunther, CM Punk is Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yeah. Saturday is also Jelly Roll, Orton versus McIntyre, Logan Paul.
We're probably getting it Sunday then.
Sunday is going to be Rey Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Saturday is Roxanne and Raquel versus Alexa and Charlotte. And then Sunday is Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Sunday is Solo and Jacob. Saturday is Roman and Jay versus The Bronze. Saturday is Sami and Karrion. They haven't posted. It still says Saturday and Sunday. It's probably going to last overnight. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's where I'm like, if they open the show on Sunday with it, that would be great. Like, have it be the first.
I think they're still debating, because that's the only match that doesn't have a date assigned to it, because they just made it.
Yeah. Well, because it's going to be exhausting. Like, it'll be great to watch, but it's one of those, you're going to need like a palate cleanser. Like Karrion and Sammy's going to have to follow that.
I would hate to follow that match. I would.
Well, absolutely. I mean, but who else follows that match? That's what I was like thinking about. Like, you got to have it's got to be one of the more minor feuds that's here. You don't follow it with one of the title matches.
Randy and Jelly Roll versus Drew and Logan.
maybe
Because that one,
do
that
that.
one, no, that one could probably at least you'll keep the crowd going because of Jelly Roll.
Yeah, but you need something where it's like, okay, we need to take a little break here and slow it down.
That's what I'm
And
saying
yeah,
because Jelly Roll's new to wrestling like that, so I mean it'll give a chance for him to kind of make like a long entrance and soak in the crowd maybe.
yeah. But I'm
I
like,
don't know.
if you want to pay it off, make it the opening match on Saturday. Like the first thing you see is the TLC. Like the crowd's going to be hot, ready to go.
That match is going to be
The reaction, that
bananas.
match is going to be
I
nuts.
am excited.
So that should be good. That's probably going to be the match of the show. Like
Yeah.
it has to be. There's
I mean,
too
look at
many
the
great
teams
teams
involved in it, man. Like that.
It's so good.
Jesus.
And again, very apparent as to why the SmackDown Tag Division is far superior to the Raw Tag.
The Raw Tag titles aren't even up.
They're not even being represented on. I mean, maybe they'll put something together at the last minute. That's why.
It'll be an uneven number. Right now, we're at 12 matches.
Oh, okay.
6 apiece.
Yeah, so
I think that's it. We're tied up.
That's it.
Yeah.
Man, but should be a good one. And yeah, that was SmackDown, and that was it for this week. So on the road to SummerSlam, very well set. Should be an exciting match. I mean, should be an exhausting couple of days, and we'll be back to recap it all for all of you. So again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments, whether you like, dislike anything that we have to say. We always are happy to hear from you if you just want to talk wrestling. We appreciate the support as always. Until next time, I've been Michael D'Angelo. Excuse me. He's been Big D Daryl Ortiz. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you soon.